All right, cool. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna go ahead and just wing it tonight. My friend was supposed to come over and I think she got some milk company, so she couldn't make it. And that's okay. This is After Hours with TJ. And yeah, neighbor couldn't make it tonight. But you know what? It's okay. Because I had a cool conversation with her and it was a little bit freaky. And I want to share that conversation because it was kind of funny. So the other day, right, we were talking. I was talking to her tonight. She was telling me the other day how she was she was walking home. She went out to a bar, right? And you know, you get these creeper guys. Sometimes these motherfuckers, they don't know how to take no. You tell them no, and they keep on fucking crab walking their ass to you, and you're like, bro. I mean, I don't, I'm sure they tell them no, and then they keep coming at you. So she's telling me, and she's like, T man, the other night I was at a bar and I was hanging out with my lady friends, and I'm walking home and I'm walking in my car. She's like, and this guy, he's following me. He's sitting there and he's sitting there telling me like, hey, what's up, Mama Cita? What's going on? She was like, and I'm sitting there like, okay, well, good night. I got a boyfriend. You have a nice night. And he's like, well, hey, he ain't here, and he ain't me. She's like, and I'll tell you what. She's like, I'm always packing heat. I got something on me at all times. I said, okay, well, hell yeah, right? I mean, shit, cool. She's like, yeah. She's like, and I'm walking in my car, and he's getting closer, and I'm thinking, man, am I gonna draw my weapon on this motherfucker or not? She's like, and you know what he did? And I was like, whoa, what did he do? She's like, he just said, fine, whatever, and he walked off. I was like, well, that's good. That's good. She's like, well, is it? And I was like, what do you mean? Is it? She's like, I mean, is it? She's like, part of me wishes, I don't know. She's like, maybe I should have worn the skirt, the mini skirt instead of the jeans. She's like, but kind of wish this motherfucker would have followed me. And I'm like, what do you mean? Why? And she said, well, because then I would have made it to my car. If I would have made it to my car, TJ, I had bigger guns. And I was like, oh, so you got a gun on you? She's like, oh, absolutely. I was like, but this guy's following you. She's like, yeah, like a fucking predator. And I'm like, and you were scared? She's like, oh no, 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 I wasn't scared. I mean, maybe for him, but I wasn't scared. I was walking in my car. He's following me. I was like, okay. And you wanted him to follow you. She's like, oh no, no, I didn't want him to follow me. But if he did, I would have hoped he would have followed me to my car. I was like, and that's because I had a shitload of guns. I had a bigger gun, TJ. And that, ooh. And I was like, okay, okay. She's like, but it didn't get that far. She's like, she goes, and there's a part of me that said, man, if I would have wore that mini skirt, this guy he probably would have followed me home. I was like, well, that's not good. She's like, oh no, it is not good. It's not good for him. And I was like, whoa, not good for him. She's like, oh, absolutely, T man. Let me tell you, shit, because at my house, I have an arsenal of weaponry. And I was like, oh, she's like, we would have went to war on his ass. And I was like, well, okay, so it makes you don't want him to follow you. She goes, oh, absolutely not. No, that's wrong. I don't want. When you tell a guy no, no's no. I was like, so you don't want him to follow you? She's like, no. She's like, all I'm saying is that if he did, it would have been a lot better for me and a lot worse for him. I was like, better for you. And she's like, do the math, TJ. Do the math. She's like, I got guns. I was like, well, no, no. You said you have guns. She's like, I have a lot of fucking guns. And I was like, oh. She's like, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, who the fuck do I live next to? It was just wild, and she puts her hand on me and she's like, T man, I want to tell you something right now. Can I call you T-Man? I was like, yeah, go ahead and call me whatever you want. She's like, well, I am going to call you whatever I want. I got a lot of guns. I was like, oh, yeah. She's like, what I'm trying to say is, don't you ever worry if someone ever picks on you. Don't you ever worry if a man tries to follow you home. I'm like, well, I would not. You know, you mean like a girl? She's like, TJ, whatever. Someone follows you home. You give me a call. I'm going to take care of you. And I was like, thank, thank you. Thank you. um, I don't know. I don't know. It was just wild because she's super fucking cool, but she also doesn't super fucking super fuck not fuck around. She's Jesus Christ, what the fuck. But yeah, that was my night. I went out and I met some people, and those people knew people, and shit. Um, I guess I learned that it's just I don't know, man. It's wild. This is a small world. People And this has happened numerous times. I go out and I meet people and they know the same people, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, how the fuck did that happen? Um, because it just blows my mind how that shit happens all the time, and there's always wild stories behind it all. And that's why I love going out and I love meeting people. I got a guy, and I want to bring some of these people on here. Hopefully, I get a chance to do that. I got a guy who was a coworker of mine, and he's so fucking smooth. And I wouldn't even call him smooth I call him smooth with a V at the end. It's almost like as if Usher and Prince had a baby, and that motherfucker was born. And I got some other friends who were just wild. I got a crazy next door neighbor who loves to bang on my door at all hours of the morning or of the day, actually. And she never does it like a common knock on the door. She's a sweet elderly lady. But she bangs on that door like a fucking cop. And it scares the shit out of me. So I run down, I run and I'm like, oh my God, and I open the door and it's just her, little old lady sitting there. Hey, baby, could you open my bottle of wine? I'm like, yeah, yeah, hey, well, you want to know what? Hey, I can do that. But next time, you could call me. And she's like, well, that takes all the flavor out of life, baby. I'm like, what are we talking about? She's like, you let that simmer. And when she walks off, and I'm like, what the fuck just happened? What just happened? But no, man, it's just some wild shit that I fucking go through, and it seems as though sometimes people don't believe it, um, until they actually come out with me, and then they meet these people, and they're like, "Hey, motherfucker, that shit just happened." And I'm like, "Right now, right?" So, hopefully, I get to do that. I got a friend, and he's a fucking rock star, and he's all into whatever the fuck he's into wrestling and shit. And that's cool as fuck. So I kind of want to bring him on and just get his aspects on the whole wrestling scene. My son, actually, I want to bring him on because he's into that as well. He's into AEW and WWE, and I like his viewpoints on what he thinks. Um, but yeah, and I got my friends, some who are gay, and they give me their aspects on how life was before the new kids. It was like harder for them to be gay than it was for the new kids now, and they got some funny shit to stories to tell and everything, and it's just wild. Every time I go out, I get to meet different people, and they always have just awesome stories. And I was like, man, I would love to just make my own personal documentary where I can have them come on here and we just talk. And whether people watch it or not, I just love knowing that I was able to meet all these people and talk and shoot the shit with them. So that's the plan. But hopefully we have more of these things. Um, I love doing the whole after hours drink with TJ and whoever I bring on. And hopefully, I think tomorrow I might even have someone come over. We'll see what happens. But if you do like anything you hear, totally like and subscribe. I'll greatly appreciate that. And that'll just let me know. And if there's comments, comment at the bottom your opinions on things we talk about. If there's something that you agree with or you don't agree with, or you think you can bring a uh, special light to the subject, all for it. All for it. Whether it's with something I agree or if you disagree with it. Again, bring it to the table because I always try to be open minded and listen to what everyone has to say. And shit, you change my mind, change my mind, you know? I think we all become better people when we all listen to everybody and stuff like that. But anyway, so that was my short little story about my neighbor. And hopefully, if other crazy shit happens, I'll be able to keep y'all updated. But thank you very, very much. Y'all have a beautiful and safe night. And thank you.